Can you talk a bit more on, we touched housing and living options. Uh, in terms of, as you map the city on the accessibility, what about the internal accessibility of a house? What about the current housing stock you have in the market, which is up for rent? And as organizations like you would lease these houses to, have people with disabilities living there. So what's the status on that scenario? So what happens there?
Look, it's poor still, unfortunately, but it's an issue that's been identified, and it's an issue that there's a lot of people around the table having those conversations to work out how do we make this work. So the mobility mapping is, while that's going on, at the same time conversations about housing's been having now for a good 12 months to 2 years in terms of how do we make this work. There's more to what makes a community strong than just big industry. For any community, I've always found its biggest strength is its diversity, and it's a range of different people you have in the community that makes it so unique and brings those particular skill sets. So at a local government level and in the private sector, and as I mentioned before, in the not-for-profit sector, everyone's looking at opportunities to partner together now to actually combat this and create those spaces where whether it's exploring the potential around workforce accommodation options to create more availability within the private sector because they're not getting rented out as much when there's short-term accommodation options now being provided, and then that's where the not-for-profits can come through. There's also a lot of work in the grow space to assist with some of those support services to make communities more safer, to bring in more nurses, more teachers, and more OT support. So there's a fair bit of work occurring in that space, but it's not an easy answer. It's really not. It's going to take investment from all levels of government as well as the private and not-for-profit sector to make it work.